we're supposed to be really good friends and you're saying stuff or letting stuff slide. And I'm like, you're not a bad person. You just really want the fame. And you might be kind of broken if you've seen the other side of fame and you've experienced it and you still want it. There's probably something wrong with you.
Whoa. Wait, there was beef? When I'm right, I am right. Okay? I told you guys in the last video that if Akaash Singh does not address the situation properly with his wife, does not sit his wife down and say, hey, listen, I'm the one with the podcast. I'm the one with the comedy career. Let me be the comedian. Let me be the podcaster. You just have to be my wife and find something else to do with your time if you want to have something else, but you cannot be a podcaster on this raunchy podcast out here just spilling whatever you want, destroying my name, destroying the perception of me as a celebrity. He will lose his position on the podcast. And I said, I don't think that he will come back to the podcast. I think that it was too tarnished. I don't think that he was allowing himself to be the man he needed to be in his relationship to handle that situation properly. And unfortunately, it has come down. It's not probably anymore. It has come down to him losing his position on the podcast. The thing that saved him when he got homeless, understand that the podcast created a Patreon to save Akaash because he was homeless, and now he probably has his comedy career. Okay, his comedy career is probably going to keep him afloat. But this video right here is them saying that Andrew Schultz has come out and said that he is no longer part of the podcast anymore because of his wife. His wife, who was using him, buying bags all the time and being a stay-at-home wife, has destroyed the way that she's able to do this. Okay? She has destroyed it. It no longer exists. He has to now fully be a comedian. Maybe he can get some acting things or whatever it is, but he has lost his position on the podcast. They have moved on without him. He can no longer be part of it. Let's watch the video and find out exactly why they decided to let him go, and if I was right about the situation, right about why. I could be wrong, but let's see. If you guys see my camera kind of go in and out, it's because my camera does this thing where like it turns off for a little bit and turns back on just to save like heat or whatever. So if you see me vanish off the screen or anything like that, that's why. But just want to give y'all a little heads up. Let's jump into this video, all right? This is crazy. This is the third video on the channel for this, and it's already gotten to this point. Let's do this. Let's do this.
2025 was a comedian named Akaash Singh getting humiliated by his wife.
I saw her from the back, you know what I mean? I saw her from the back first.
Look at this.
For years, Akaash spoke about this woman like she was an angel sent down from heaven to be with him, ridiculing many celebrity relationships throughout the years on his podcast, with the most infamous one being Will Smith with the whole Chris Rock slapping saga.
Oh, I didn't know it was Jada. I thought that was Megamind from the Disney cartoons. I did not know.
Yes. Will said that about your girl.
Again, also different.
You're not hitting them?
Also different because our wives aren't celebrities. They don't put themselves out there.
Yeah.
That is the problem right there. That was Will Smith's problem too. And it's my opinion on Will Smith's problem is that Jada was a celebrity as well, and she probably felt like her celebrity was hindered by his celebrity. But that's a whole different conversation. That's the problem right there. He allowed his wife to try to piggyback off of his celebrity. As little bit of celebrity that he had, he allowed his wife to try to piggyback, and she destroyed it. Anybody out there that is trying to do something and is going to get a certain level of notoriety from it, you have a YouTube channel, whatever it is, if you and your wife aren't doing it together where and she sees you as the one who's controlling the situation as a man, because men are a lot more logical, women are more emotional. That's just the average, right? Based on whatever science, I don't know, my opinion, whatever it is. As a man, you need to control that environment because it can get bad. people's opinions can get in there. People's this, people's that. You gotta control it. You gotta let your wife know. And people make mistakes. But when she made a mistake, he needed to come to her and say, hey, listen, this needs to stop. Gotta be more aware. If your podcast is too open and too whatever, we gotta stop the podcast. I just feel like now that this is happening, their relationship is probably gonna go down the drain. Unfortunately, the relationship is gonna go down the drain. He's gonna resent her. He's going to resent her. But let's go. Let's continue.
You put themselves out there. I swear I would look at you and be like, yo, and it would be a fight. And I'm not great at fighting with my wife, but it would be a fight where it's like, hey, you also got to understand that comes with this life.
I'm going to defend my wife. Yo, stand up for your wife, bro.
In private.
In fact, many of the quotes from this specific podcast have now aged horrifically for Akaash in the modern day.
We supposed to keep this on the low. You couldn't control and keep it on the low, and I look stupid, and you angry at me?
I'm the one getting embarrassed, and then I call you out on wording, and you get, yeah, that's what I said. No, it's not what you said.
I agree with you guys 100%.
She could be a witch.
And we all know after a long, explosive feud with the Red Pill community, and specifically Fresh and Fit.
The way I look at it is, you watch them you see them evolutionary charts from Neanderthal to Homo sapien. Yeah. Y'all are the first motherfucker out of Neanderthal.
A light was shined on various TikToks and podcasts that
I just want to point out that this whole downfall is because of Marion. Or whatever they Marion or whatever from Fresh and Fit. This is the... This is the... He knows this information is out there. That was the problem. He was on the podcast talking like his wife wasn't on another podcast asking to have a orgy with another man. Asking to, like lusting over her co-host's husband. He knew this was there because he was on the podcast and he witnessed it and allowed it. And then he went on there trying to attack another guy. Big no. Put the X on the screen, Family Feud, all that. Big no. You're wildin', bro. You're wildin'. You can't go out there and have opinions on somebody like that. You can't have opinions on something like that. It's just crazy, right? Like you're creating a battle and you have dirt in your closet, right? Now we're all not perfect. Everybody's make mistakes in relationships. People have done things in relationships that they regret doing. People have said things in relationships that they regret saying publicly, privately, whatever. But if you know you got dirt out there and you haven't addressed the dirt out there, and you want to come on, the problem was that he was making it seem like she was this perfect angel. If he didn't do that, if he was just like, oh, she's a human. She's made mistakes. We all did. Then nobody would be able to throw this back at him. But he made it seem like she was this perfect angel. And then Marion, or whatever his name was, he was able to just grab it, bro, and toss it back out in the world. And everybody was like, wait, what? And it destroyed him, bro. That's crazy.
His wife made that made her look shallow, materialistic, and really just like an egomaniac.
That is actually my number one. They must be generous with their finances from day one.
And as time went on, the clips just kept coming, new things were surfacing, and it only got more and more embarrassing for our Indian friend. Now after that entire thing went down last year, the pair have actually both doubled down against their detractors, as Jasleen constantly posts about the hate she receives, which she blames on bots.
If you don't know what the controversy was, a lot of red pill and misogynistic men tried to cancel me because I said I popped my pussy. Big fucking deal. Like, get the fuck over it.
Oh
and she also went to get glazed to no end by this clown on his podcast.
Akaash and Jasleen are gonna profit from this, by the way. Like, y'all think that, Akaash really mad, right? Like, that don't change y'all life. Y'all still living in your mom's bedroom, talking about, his life over. Meanwhile, him and Jasleen sitting around, grabbing a check, opening up her, 5th Birkin.
Yeah, that was
this all while Akaash, on the other hand, had to admit that the hate affected him deeply.
I don't know. I don't feel like things really faze you like that, so I couldn't gauge if it really hurt.
I was deeply fazed.
But what?
Here, he would also throw out some threats.
Is it on site, or are you evolved at this point?
If we want beef, I'll destroy everything. I'll burn everything down. Or you can, my wife, let's just burn it all down.
So it was clear that the endless abyss of comments and commentary really did a number on our guy.
Really? This useless bitch.
Which is like, good job, ground me.
Stupid episode. I said in my last video, this episode was stupid. This episode proved that they were not going to hold him on the same level that they hold other people when they want to attack them. It was a stupid episode. They honestly should just never have done it. If you wasn't going to hold him to the standard that you hold other people, then you should never had done the episode at all. All this antics with these like little people and all this other stuff was just to cover up with the problem that they didn't want to address. That their boy was being simped on. That's what it was, bro. The boy was being a simp. It was being a simp on the internet, and they didn't want to address it. They didn't want to address it, yo. And now look.
And even till this day, Akaash is still posting very passive-aggressive things. Like when he sold out the Radio City Music Hall just last month, he captioned the post sarcastically saying she ruined his career. Which was obviously a nod at the people talking about the Jasleen files. You know, at the end of the day, I don't think that anyone felt like he would just, like, die from a career standpoint. But the entire situation just made him kind of the joke of the month on the internet.
Nasty.
Either way, after the show at the Radio City Music Hall, people noticed that none of the guys from the Flagrant podcast appeared to be in attendance. And even if they were, apparently Akaash did not give them the time of day. Not only that, but Akaash would silently remove the show from his social media pages, and he stopped appearing.
Wait, what? See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he had removed the show. Yeah, that's nasty, bro. He was already off the show. I mean, shout out to him with the Radio City Hall situation. But again, I do think that, like, the show really brought a lot of his fan base. A lot of the fan base was from Flagrant. And, you know, hopefully he's able to survive all this. Hopefully he's able to have a successful comedy career after all this, and people do show up for him and things like that. But I feel like he may see a dip in the audience, you know, after all this. They may no longer associate him with the podcast. And if the podcast was driving the audience to keep showing up, he may start to see, you know, some decline in audience and ticket sales and things like that. I don't know. We'll see.
On the podcast altogether for the last couple of months. And when he spoke in this interview how he was sick of fake friends who talk shit behind his back during this entire nightmare, many people inferred that he was talking about Andrew and his crew.
We're supposed to be really good friends, and you're saying stuff or letting stuff slide, and I'm like, you're not a bad person. You just really want the fame, and you might be kind of broken if you've seen the other side of fame and you've experienced it and you still want it. There's probably something wrong with you.
Whoa! Wait, there was beef? He can't be talking about Andrew Schultz and the rest of the crew behind it on Flagrant. There was beef? Now, this is all alleged. Everything in this video is alleged. And this is just an assumption or insinuation that there was beef. He didn't say any names, okay? So we just gotta let that be known. But why would he talk about this about a random person behind the scene? Yikes. I want to know what Andrew Schultz said, though.
And now we do finally have confirmation that Akaash has officially left the Flagrant podcast. Alright guys, here we are on the official announcement that Akaash will no longer be on the Flagrant podcast. It actually is quite ironic that this thumbnail was sitting right here, because that expression, you know, that still shot, is essentially the only reaction we're going to be getting from Akaash at this point. You know, other than passive-aggressive Instagram post about she ruined his career, saying I saw...
Yeah, that's nasty, bro. Like, you're doing your thing. Be successful in silence, bro. Let your work speak for you. Putting things like she ruined his career when that could be the reality. Like, 5 years from now, he could not have a comedy career. 5 years from now, he could literally not be selling out shows. I think that, like, you need to be more humble about the situation. You got Radio City Music Hall. Just get the music hall, do your show, get your numbers, put it up, post the videos, post the pictures, post this, post that, and let that speak for yourself. Coming out and saying she ruined your career while these things were already in place. You know, things are on a graph, you feel me? So he was already on the up. So while this happened, it didn't cut the legs off completely, but it could. He could see a drastic drop in his attendance for his comedy shows. And then this statement becomes a reality. So for you to sit here and write that, bro, you're wilding, bro. I think that you need to chill out a little bit. Just relax. Make your work show for you. Make the work speak for you. Show through your work. And anybody who wants to deny you, let them deny you while you keep climbing that ladder. Because she could pull that ladder from underneath you, bro, and you could fall right on your face, bro. And this will be nasty work, bro. Nasty.
Sold X amount of tickets, we're going to be just fine. You know, we're not going to get the final radio dispatch call saying, yo, this is Akaash Singh, number 2225, signing off the Flagrant podcast. We're not going to get anything like that, and to me, I think it's because Akaash either does not fuck with Andrew anymore, or he just really does not like the Flagrant audience who has really been tormenting him for the last couple of months. Because despite not appearing on the show for this entire year, the comment section on literally every episode has been flooded with remarks about Akaash.
That's nasty.
We got to address the elephant in the room, no pun intended.
Here we go.
Okay. As I'm sure you guys are aware, our boy Akaash, he really went through it earlier this year, showed amazing resilience and, selling out.
Nah, he didn't show no resilience. He was struggling. And instead of showing resilience and nipping the situation, he let it grow, bro. He let it go to the point where Andrew Schultz is now about to announce his departure from the podcast. That's nasty, bro. As a man, bro, that's disgusting, bro. Like, that's disgusting. Come on. Get your wife in line, bro. You married your wife while you had this thing brewing, bro. You may not have had it yet, but it was in the process. You know what I mean? Like, it was a moving train. The train was moving forward. And then you married your wife and allow her to just derail the train. Why? Why would you do that? And why would she want to do that? Like, she doesn't even have the outlook to see, like, oh, my actions are going to be detrimental to his career, and his career is why I'm able to do what I want to do. Without him making the money that he was making, you can't do a podcast. You got to go get a job. If he can't continue to bring in the money that he was making, unless he has a lot of money in savings and you guys don't actually spend a lot of money each year or whatever it is, y'all gonna have to figure this out. And you may have to start, chipping in. You won't be able to be a stay-at-home wife anymore. Why would you want that? You had it made. You had what everybody wants, a peaceful life, and you came in and became a non-peaceful person. It's just weird. It's weird.
Radio City recently, setting records in Toronto, just crushing stand-up around the globe, and literally just like living the dreams that he would tell me about at 2 a.m. when we're eating fucking egg sandwiches at Veselka.
I mean, you do have to remember that Akaash and Andrew really rose to prominence together in a lot of ways. Like, they have made millions of dollars between themselves.
Oh, I remember when Flagrant was called Flagrant 2 and they had Kaz on there. The black guy, he used to be on there, and he would want to talk about sports a lot more than they would, and they would just keep joking, and he would not show up, be there, and then it was a silent departure. They didn't even address it, really, to be honest. To my understanding, they never really addressed it. They just kind of just kept going, and it was fine. The podcast, it did seem like it was more like a comedy podcast and not a sports podcast. So yeah, it worked out. But now they have to address Akaash leaving the podcast. They didn't have to address it when Kaz left it, but they have to address it because Akaash's departure is wrapped up in this BS. It's crazy.
And while he will reminisce here about the good times, to me, I think that Andrew did not have Akaash's best interest throughout this entire nightmare. I really do think it was his idea to have Jasleen on the podcast, which was
Nasty
pouring
episode.
Gasoline on a already out of control fire.
I would watch the videos and I would die laughing. As a friend who loves him, I would die laughing.
And then obviously on his other podcast, Brilliant Idiots, he was really talking shit behind Akaash's back.
Keep your wife off the
motherfucking internet.
And I get guys.
I agree. No, I agree. If your wife cannot condone herself properly on the internet in front of so many people and destroy the perception of you as a person and your perception is how you make money, keep her off the internet. It ain't for everybody. It's not. She doesn't have a talent. So what she does is create drama, or she tries to be this raunchy person and allow raunchiness or edgy material to create an audience for her. Nasty. You gotta get her off, bro. I mean, I think it's too late now, but
it's a comedy podcast and it's like, yo, everyone can get these jokes. But I could also see how that could rub someone the wrong way or really pour salt on a wound when pretty much everyone is roasting you.
But the experience has put things in perspective for him. And he has made the decision to focus all of his energy on stand-up. He is going to be stepping away from the pod. It is bittersweet. You know, we wish that he did not want to do that. But at the same time, you know, it's very hard not to root for your friend, you know, literally living his dreams. And if he feels he's got to give everything to that, then that's exactly what he's got to do. And we're going to rock with him. We hope you guys continue to rock with him. Go check out the show. We saw the show Radio City. It's phenomenal. You guys should absolutely go check it out. AkaashSing.com for tickets. So we just wanted to, you know, clear the air. Akaash hasn't been on the pod for a while. We thought it was time that we, you know, talk to you guys about it.
That's nasty, bro. I respect Andrew for coming out and talking highly of his friend and addressing the situation the best way he could. But this is nasty. This is nasty because the podcast was his bread and butter. Do you not understand? Yes. Hopefully, he's able to pour all his energy into his comedy shows. His comedy shows keep growing. And he's, you know, moved on from the podcast. Maybe it was just time. And then, you know, his wife's antics online won't destroy his legacy. Good. I hope the best for Akaash. I hope that he's able to deal with that situation. But to have your wife destroy your name, have your wife destroy your name and boot you off of your own podcast. This was Andrew Schultz, Akaash Sing. Those are the two names on the podcast. Andrew Schultz and Akaash Sing Flagrant. You got booted on your own podcast because you wouldn't want to address your wife properly? Because you wouldn't just come out and be like, you know what? I wasn't seeing the situation for what it was. I was allowing her freedom, doing the things that I thought I had to do as a husband and supportive, and I didn't, and I knew that she was just trying to make jokes, and maybe them jokes was a little bit inappropriate. And as a man, you know what? They did bother me. They did bother me, and I let them slide because I tried to be more supportive of her. But to be honest, it did bother me. So I had to talk to her and let her know, hey, listen, I don't really like the jokes. Because if he came on Hot 97 or whatever that was and said, yeah, it bothered him. It bothered him what people were saying about the situation. And that's a reflective of how he looks at the situation. This whole, oh, God has me, that don't mean nothing when people are saying, your wife is saying this, and you're saying that bothers me. It bothers me that people are saying that my wife is saying what she said. Bro, deal with it. Deal with it. And you allow her to run you off your podcast, bro? You allow her to kick you out your own house, bro. You gave your bed up. You gave up money that was coming in, bro. Hey.
And I do think that for the Flagrant audience, it's almost like their parents sitting them down and finally telling them, like, yes, we are getting a divorce. You know, nasty. I know you can tell that things have been fucked up for a while, little Timmy. Daddy's got a mistress over here, and let me just tell you, it's over. I mean, even just thinking about Akaash's viewpoints, I could see how being in the podcast and the political sphere can get a little bit toxic for your mental health. And if really he just feels like a comedian at heart and that's what he wants to pursue fully, and he feels like he can still bring a lot of money in because obviously he's walking away from a fat bag here, you know, I could see the allure to just being done with this shit. But obviously he's given away like a massive platform.
It's bittersweet because this is my brother. I love him. I was here day one of this podcast, and it's like, we were started together and together. Bad boys for life.
Yeah.
Some gay shit,
yeah.
You know?
I don't know. Something about him not being there just feels really weird to me. Like, this almost feels like a eulogy.
I'm going to be honest with you, it don't feel weird to me. It don't feel weird to me, and I'm going to keep it a buck. It don't feel weird because of how everything went down. It would have felt weird if he was there. If Akaash was still there, I would have been like, this is nasty. They don't want to address it. They're not addressing it. They are not really addressing what they really want to say about the situation. To keep the same energy, bro. Y'all couldn't keep the same energy. And this falls on Andrew Schultz and Alex and Mark and all of them on that podcast. They didn't keep the same energy with him. They didn't let him know, hey, listen, yo, we're going to call you out the same way we called out Will Smith. And if you don't like that, then you need to address that. But we're letting you know how to address it. We're letting you know what needs to be said, what needs to be done. Andrew Schultz went on Brilliant Idiots and said, yo, keep your wife off the internet. Tell that to Akaash. And tell that to Akaash on the podcast. Don't tell it to him on private, because this situation is public. Let Akaash tell everybody that he is not going to do it. He's not going to tell his wife to stay off the internet, right? And then he will have to deal with the consequences of that. But this whole, like, you know, cloak and dagger situation where he's not addressing it and you guys are not addressing it is nasty. It's nasty. And it kind of left, like, to be honest, a sour taste in anybody's mouth who was listening to Flagrant, because you guys wouldn't keep the same energy. And that was their whole thing, is that how they're going to keep the same energy and keep the same energy, bro. Keep that energy. You knew his boy was wilding. Y'all should have dealt with that behind the scene before this whole thing blew up. Y'all should have told him straight up, don't press these guys, because your closet is dirty, bro. Your wife is out here just yapping off about shit. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So fucking proud, like, being at Radio City and just seeing,
Crazy.
like, just everybody was animated, like they loved it. Like, I'm just proud of him.
And so, yeah, it is clear by their comments there that they were actually at the Radio City Music Hall show. And I'm guessing that maybe Akaash more or less just snubbed them, because none of these guys posted pictures with him. In all of the various content that Akaash posted around that night, there was not one picture, not one video, not one glimpse of the Flagrant guys.
I think that's intentional. I think he intentionally didn't acknowledge them because he knew that he was no longer part of the podcast. Maybe there's some animosity there. Maybe there is some behind the scene drama, but that may be intentional, to be like, listen, I'm no longer part of the podcast. These are my friends. He's not going to post pictures of every one of his friends that's at the show. And maybe that was an intentional move to be like, yo, we're not going to post pictures together. We're not going to acknowledge each other together. Why? Because we're no longer working together in that capacity. So I'm not going to say that that's an indication of beef, but the comments he made does seem to lean towards Andrew Schultz, saying one thing on the podcast about how, we're not going to, address my boy the way we would address anybody else, but then going on bringing it and big belly laughing with freaking Charlemagne and saying with Charlemagne that, keep your wife off the internet. If your wife don't know how to deal with internet etiquette in terms of his perception of his career, is that could be it.
I mean, truly, maybe Akaash expected them to stand 10 toes down with him, and when he felt like they didn't, he's like, you know what, fuck you.
I came home from Sweden.
Oh, yeah, his reaction was incredible.
His reaction, like, he didn't even care. The cameras were there, jumped up, gave me the biggest fucking bear hug. I didn't know he was that strong.
And, obviously everyone has gotten their jokes off at Akaash's expense at this point. But between everyone in this room, I do feel like he's probably the most genuine person. Like, I don't think that he's the type to go around backstabbing people.
I love you, brother, but, I agree. We'll see each other, so it's all good.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's cool to see all the venues he's selling out and everything that he's doing. I remember even when I very first came to New York, riding in an Uber with him, and he was talking about this exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
all right, we don't need to go down memory lane. Let's see what else he's talking about. Let's go back right around here to see.
Awkward. It feels almost wrong. I mean, I'm not denying it, guys. If the clips of the wife did not come out, if she never tried to have this social...
She does not like this man. It's embarrassing, bro. She doesn't like him. Oh my gosh. You don't want to kiss your husband on camera. And they never did. Even on Flagrant, I think that nasty episode. So I'm going to keep telling you guys it's nasty. I don't think they did. I think he curved her because he knew that it was never going to happen. And if they did, it would have looked nasty. It would have looked so forced. Ugh.
Media presence, which obviously is quite ironic considering the things that he
Best
said
friends,
about
buddies.
Our wives are not celebrities, they
That's
don't have
the
a
homie.
platform. He would still be cooking on the Flagrant podcast. So in many ways, she did end this phase of his career. And let's just sift through some of the audience feedback. This guy says, poor Akaash, his lady sunk his battleship. Jasleen, you watching, you did this. Damn, she really messed up his life. This is how me and the boys talk after a funeral. He left the wrong person, hope he grows and comes back.
R.I.P. That's what that sound like. That sound like, yo, we had a great time. We no longer... I don't know, bro. I don't know, guys. I guess we can keep going through these
I
comments.
mean, I don't know. If you honestly felt like the
Got
guy
his
was
own
going
show.
to leave his wife over this internet backlash, at least in like the immediate sense, like honestly, you're probably too parasocial towards this podcast. You are most likely too
Right.
terminally online. I don't know. I really just think a lot of things can be true in a situation like this.
Then he gets up and does this like
Okay, so they're probably just going down memory lane. We don't need to see all that. But, just a comment off of that. I don't think anybody thought he was going to leave his wife. I think that some people were trying to say that, like, leaving his wife would help fix the situation. It's an immediate fix, right? Like, you leave your wife, and now everybody's like, great job. Great job. He left his wife. He identified the problem, and he removed the problem, right? It's a quick fix. You just remove the problem. Now he can come out and say, yo, she was the problem. It wasn't going to work out. And then they moved on. But if that's not what you want to do, and I don't think that he should have done that, right? This is your wife. This is the person you chose to marry. This is the person you chose you want to be with for the rest of your life, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Why would you want to leave your wife because she did something stupid on the internet and it imploded your career in terms of your podcast career and your perception of you on the internet? Okay, cool. You don't want to leave your wife for that. That's fine. I don't think that he should leave his wife for that. But I do think that he needed to address his wife properly. And that nasty episode, that disgusting episode they came out with them little people and jumping all over the place and she coming out and trying to pretend like she don't know what's going on and why can't I be funny? My husband is a comedian and he's funny because you're not a comedian. Nobody asked you to be the comedian and nothing you said was funny. Saying, oh, my co-host is, peen is 10 inches and I want to hop up on it. It's not funny. Nobody's laughing at that. Why would you think that this is funny? No, that's not funny. That's not funny. You didn't even set it up. Where's the beginning, middle, punchline? You didn't set up nothing. It wasn't a joke. It was a statement. You made a statement and then laughed. That's not a funny joke. That's not a joke. Nobody saw it as a joke. People saw it as your real thoughts, right? And they didn't, that episode to me was a nail in the coffin for him on the show. They did not properly address the situation. He couldn't come back from that. He just couldn't really come back from it because there was still things needed to be said and none of them was willing to say it. He wasn't willing to say it. Andrew wasn't willing to say it. Mark wasn't willing to say it. Alex wasn't willing to say it. None of them was willing to say it. And from that moment, the podcast, as we saw it, including Akaash, was over. I know Marion from Fresh and Fit or whatever his name is laughing. He is laughing right now. He won. And I mean, I don't listen to them. I see the things online and I don't agree with a lot of the things that they speak on. The rhetoric is nasty. Why would you allow a man like that to win? But unfortunately, he won. He won, guys. He won. If you like this video, hit that like, comment in the comments if you agree, disagree, whatever you want to say about Akaash Singh. This is probably the last time we talk about him, but like the world around us, you never know. There could be another situation coming up. Shout out to this guy. What's his name? Let me see what his name is. Shout out to Jamari for the video and his thoughts on the video so that we can react to it. Nasty, nasty, nasty work. This is nasty.